That was very strange. I haven't heard that before. My computer talks to me now. A little freaky. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all my blessed beloveds out there in video land. You're watching Living and Thriving with Rustie, and I'm Rustie. And I look like a little bit of a Muppet because I just got out of the shower. You know, the weekly cleaning. Just kidding. God, you guys are so serious. I slept like poop. I was chased by aliens and all kinds of weird stuff in my sleep. And I think my dogs might have a concussion because they sleep with me too. And evidently I move around a lot. I don't know, poor things. They still love me though. That's the great thing about dogs is no matter how messed up and flawed you are, they still like to have your love and love you back. So I've doped up quite heavily on some lavender by doTERRA. Link below, check it out. Huge. Oh, yes. Oh, God. I love it. So I am in a mad ass marathon doing 165 total interviews as back-to-back as possible. Excuse me. Plus touring around the East Coast in a tent with 2 small dogs. And I do have a sponsor. Yay! So that's kind of exciting. And you'll learn all about that probably on my Patreon channel. Don't forget, links below. I'm really looking forward to our next guest. Good morning, Alyssa. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm very well. I said Alyssa, didn't I? I'm sorry. I've had 4 hours of sleep in 2 days, so I apologize. Allyson.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm just tired. You know how this goes when you're doing back-to-back interviews and you're getting hardly any sleep and
Yep, I do.
What happens? How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Good. So let's begin. Simple. Who are you? What do you do? And what makes you you?
I am Allyson Roberts, and I am a cognitive behavioral expert, and I combine spirituality with the science. So I run a 6-month program called Unapologetic Power and a 12-month program that's a book collaboration, which is really exciting, called Up Level. And I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, but I finally, after 24 years of doing this work, have a global reach, which is really exciting. What makes me me? Oh, gosh. I would say probably growing up the way that I did, it taught me a lot about survival and thriving, because there's a big difference between the two. But yeah, so that's what makes me me.
So DISH, surviving and thriving. And by the way, I'm about 7 hours south of you, so I'll be popping through your town for a brief I-95 moment in a couple of weeks. Atlanta has grown so exponentially. It's like this bizarre blow up boom. It's not that cute little cozy typical Southern Georgia sweetness anymore. It's a hustling, bustling, get out of my way city now. It's like New York on Southern grits and fried chicken.
It is. So I was actually, I tell everybody that my blood is probably going to end up in the Smithsonian because I'm actually a 7th generation Georgian, which is just unheard of. Like, it's just not heard of. So when the 1996 Olympics came to Atlanta, I was like, well, there it goes. It changed everything.
Yeah, now you do movies, and you know, The Walking Dead really increased that. And then I can't think of his name. He's so funny. Medea, the fellow who does Medea.
Oh yeah, Tyler Perry.
Yes, him. Love Medea.
Yes.
Now he has his studio there, and,
yes,
and
it's
that's
huge.
also made things huge. And the culture shifts, and just it's being 7th generation Georgian. It must kind of be like, whoa, slow down, buddy.
Yeah, you know, the beautiful thing about it is, you know, back last year we were having riots here and protest, and everybody
I drove
was
through it.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Well, we lived through it.
Yeah.
And, everybody was like so upset about it. Except for those of us who are here in Atlanta, who are awake and see that, massive change is needed. And our government continues to, disappoint us. Our local government continues to disappoint us with, oppressed voting laws and, and now the mayor of Atlanta, she's not going to run again. And
I
so
know. I saw that. That broke my heart. I was like, come on, girl, just give them a little bit more. You're almost there. But it's got to be stressful for her.
yeah, yeah. I mean, she has been fighting our governor like every single day, fighting for rights and fighting and fighting and fighting. And I'm sure she's just tired. I mean, I would be exhausted. So it's an exciting time. I mean, we're finally starting to, see some change happen. And, being a cognitive expert too, it's interesting to watch the mindset shift. It's just really interesting.
I think, I don't know if you've ever seen my show before, but I'm really big about you don't know what you don't know until you know. And
Right.
what's beautiful about being human, not only are we delightfully flawed, we're hell of a hypocrite. We live in a dichotomy. Everything's duality. And here we are trying to control something that doesn't even exist.
Right.
It's just mind-boggling to me. It's like, you don't need to be worrying about that. You need to be worrying about your neighbor if they have any food. Like, don't worry about it. None of your business. But yeah, it's a huge shift, especially on a human spectrum, because people are learning things that they either played ostrich with, or they genuinely didn't really know,
Right.
or they didn't want to accept as
Right.
a reality. And with this whole new GQP weirdness, I mean, I live in Florida, so, and you know what my governor is doing. He's just as bad.
Yeah.
It's just a bizarre kind of ebb and flow of it's like a zip popping, it's just getting really, really, really big, and it's going to explode, and it's going to be messy. But I think a whole lot of people are going to be relieved when we finally get to a place where we can just eat dinner together and it not be a he, she, gender, color thing. That's just not
And if only,
it's not important.
yeah, it's been really, this year especially, I mean, we woke up in March to, the, systemic racism in our face, along with a pandemic, along with people, losing their jobs, and husbands that don't travel anymore, and wives having to learn how to love their husbands again. And, all because they're home, all of this stuff. Right. And I think it's wonderful. I mean, people think I'm crazy, but I think it's just been a great time for people to truly come into awareness with everything.
Absolutely. I agree. I actually took full advantage of the time, and I wrote 2 books and did a whole bunch of interviews around the world. And I'm just like, this is beautiful, because you get to see an uncut version of someone's authenticity in a place and a time in which people are confused and scared, which I believe is the political drive, is to keep people confused and scared about something. And we're seeing segments of people kind of fall off that pattern or that wagon of going, hey, no, this is not the way it is. And I was able to reset myself as an authentic person. And I've discovered what my values are and what is important to me, what's important to my family. And that's what I'm going to pursue. I'm not going to pursue your programming anymore, so to speak. Talk to us a little bit about what cognitive therapy is. I know what it is, love it, live it. But why cognitive therapy? Why not art or something? What was your interest? It's complex.
Well, I'm intrigued. I started, I learned it in school a long time ago, but I really only picked the thought model back up probably, I don't know, 3 years ago, because I'm 56 years old.
Shut up. No, you are not.
I am. Yes, I
You're
am.
making like cosmetic stuff?
No, I do not.
Girl, you got some genes because I totally had you in your 40s.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
whatever you did, you just keep doing it because it looks good.
Thank you. I get it from my parents. Honestly, both of them still look very, very young in their 80s and 90s. So, but I started to realize that I was becoming my outside circumstances, and I didn't like it at all. And so that is cognitive behavior, is when we believe that we are what is happening around us. And the way that a thought model works is that, it's a straight line down or a circle, whichever way you want to do it. But it's CTFAR. C is the circumstance. T is the thought about the circumstance. Then the feeling after the thought. And then the action that we take as a result of how we're thinking and feeling. And then we get a result. And I was having all these results that I was not happy with. The same result over and over and over. And I was like, I teach this. Like, I know this. Like, what is my problem?
We're the worst students sometimes.
Oh my gosh, aren't we though? I mean, like the worst. And so I was on a trip in Canada, and I was, teaching and coaching there. And I was sitting in the airport in Vancouver. And I don't know if you've ever been there, but it is gorgeous.
I love Canada. It's such a beautiful
Oh my God.
country.
It's so beautiful. It's one of my favorite places in the world. And I was, looking out this window at the hotel, and I'm like, I have got to shift this. I mean, my life is just not going in the direction that I want it to go. And so I pulled out a napkin. It's all that I had in front of me. I pulled out a napkin and I wrote down the thought model. And I was like, the circumstance is my life. And my thought is that, I'm not in a good place right now. And it was making me feel horrible. And then the action that I was taking was I was playing small, and I was wearing masks and not being my true authentic self and trying to please everybody. And then the result I was getting was just relationships that were broken, in business and personal, everywhere that I turned. And I'm like, well, I'm the common denominator. I mean, it's not their fault, even though I had gone through a whole year and a half of blaming. I really had a come to Allyson moment with myself, and I was just like, I'm not behaving, and I'm not showing up the way that I want to. This has all got to shift. And so I wiped the slate clean of the program that I was teaching, and which is hard to do. I mean, when you've built a program for 14 years and then you decide that you're not going to teach that program anymore, but you don't know what you're going to teach or how you're going to teach it. It's like the space between the blades. You have to just kind of sit. And so I sat in my pain. I sat in my pain for 7 weeks. Just thinking and doing thought models and figuring everything out. And then I reemerged, and put together Unapologetic Power to teach, cognitive behavior along with, spirituality. Because I really believe that we have an invisible team that's always with us. All we have to do is just reach out and ask for their help, and they're readily available to give it to us.
Not mine. Mine have given up. Mine are out drinking, playing poker.
Yeah, they're like this.
Yeah. They're like, damn, not her again. Burner phone.
Well, that's how mine were for that 18 months. I'm sure they were probably like, oh my God.
But they unconditionally love us. That's the good part.
They do. They do unconditionally love us. So, and here's the crazy thing, like the program I was teaching before, I could never get more than like 12 or 14 people in the program at a time. And I have 42 people in my new program right now. And so it just goes to show, like, when you're in alignment, things just flow. They do.
I also think that when you are able to be authentic with yourself and you realize that you're flawed and you realize that you hurt and you realize you've been a bitch. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
you know, I mean,
Yeah.
own it. And I have come to this conclusion that I'm this really delicious, hot, spicy cup of tea. Not everybody likes hot. Not everybody likes spicy. Not everybody likes tea. So I have to be good with that and not
Yep.
own it on an interpersonal level where it hurts my feelings, because I'm such a mushy gushy person, don't tell anybody, that it did used to hurt my feelings that not everybody liked me.
Oh, God, me too. It used to keep me up at night. Jesus. I mean, seriously, I would cry myself to sleep over a comment on Facebook. It's really stupid shit.
And people, there are people that are intentionally, purposefully just mean.
Yeah.
And they look for opportunity to rattle somebody. And
Yep.
we happen to be the best to rattle because we genuinely come from a place of loving and kindness and caring and wanting to make everything better. We're fixers. That's who we are. We're healers. We're fixers.
Yep.
And when you get to a place where you go, okay, I own my behavior. I own my part of my emotional reactivity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good.
Yep.
Plot twist. And then you move on, and it just becomes beautiful because you accept a part of you that you tried to deny, I think.
Yes. Yeah. I think too, as women, you know, men have their own bag of, you know, dog poop to deal with. But, you know, women, we are taught to be the caregivers, you know, and there's no proper course in school to teach about the mean girl syndrome, you know, and boys don't cry. I mean, there needs to be like curriculum to help.
I agree with the therapeutic aspect of that, but I think if we were to go to the very beginning before you become a parent and you develop a stream of compassion and a stream of understanding and because we experience and then we understand and then we carry on.
Mm-hmm.
And if we like that experience, we try to stay within that experience all the time, which is good and bad, you know.
Right. Well, the brain hates change.
I hate change. I'm too old, girl.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the cognitive process is that, you know, our brain hates change. That's why, you know, people that win millions of dollars in lotteries, most of them are bankrupt because their brain isn't trained to deal with their new wealth story. And so they spend it all and give it all away as fast as they can because their brain doesn't know how to be rich. So even
like
the best, so even the best, greatest thing that can happen to you, if you don't have your brain trained. You know, my brother used to play the lottery all the time, and I used to be like, I hope you're training your brain. I hope you're training your brain. I hope you're training your brain because when you win.
How many times did he roll his eyes at you going, okay, sis, my God, just the lottery.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of eye rolls in my world, but it's just the way it is, though. I mean, it's just science. It's the way it is.
And you obviously love it. As a kid, did you want to be a brain doctor? Like, what was your shtick then?
I wanted to be a veterinarian, but I didn't have the support at home to make that happen. But I used to, you know, bandage up and try to heal and save, like, you know, all of the things that were hurt outside, and you know, make sure that they were going to be okay. And so yeah, and then I completely got away from all of that because of, you know, childhood trauma and all of that stuff. And so I really only dove back into the science piece of it about, I don't know, 20 years ago. So, yeah.
And you've put a dash of spirituality in there, which I really appreciate, because I do think science and spirituality go hand in hand. Just like I think there's use for Western medicine, I just don't think it's the only medicine.
Right.
I'm big onto holistic healing first, and then Western medicine being kind of like the 911 healing.
Exactly.
So talk to me a little bit about how you incorporate your spirituality with your cognitive behavioral reprogramming, is basically what it is, courses, because it's a lot of big words, but I think it's really exciting.
It is exciting. So, if we only use the science, it's really rote. It's just, I mean, the science is proven and it works, but if it's only the science, it can feel really boring and it can feel really empty. Even if you're seeing amazing results, it can still feel like there's like something missing in our heart space. And then if it's all spirituality, and I see this a lot, people have a tendency to bypass their pain, and try to woo-woo it all away. And like, I'm going to meditate this, deep wound away. Like, good luck with that. But there is a component of it that you can use meditation and combine the science. And when you put the two together, I tell people it's kind of like chocolate and peanut butter. Like, chocolate's really good by itself and peanut butter is delicious. But when you put the two together, it's like
you had
nirvana.
Me at peanut butter. Keep talking.
How about margarita mix and tequila?
Bad college memories. Go back to the peanut butter. I was a very skinny, I modeled for Matrix and Fashion Bug. I was really small. And I hung out with the rugby team. They were kind of my protectors, and they're 300-400 pounds, and I was 124. And I decided that I was going to do shot for shot with the big boys.
Oh.
Yeah. Talk about poisoning. And now I smell it and I'm going, oh God. And it's been a long time since, but it's still that whole, it's in there.
Oh yeah. That's your reptilian brain going, Rustie, we are not drinking that.
No, your kidneys deny you.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you're okay.
Oh yeah. But I mean, it was college.
Yes.
I think you learn and expand every day, every moment of your life. And sometimes you do things that were not thought through fully. And
Yep.
then you spend the rest of your life going, I'm not going to do that again.
Yes, you do. I call that experiential therapy.
That is true. So you have a book, right? Do you have it with you?
I do. I know it's coming out in June.
All right.
So a few more weeks. Yes. It's called Behind the Power.
So dish about the book. I'm excited.
Yeah. So the book is myself along with 13 other co-authors, and we are sharing stories about our journeys about overcoming bulimia and drug addiction and child abuse and narcissistic domestic abuse. And there are just incredible women in this book who have just so much strength. And I've been working with them for 7 months now, and they fill up my soul. I mean, just when you look at these, and the beautiful thing about it is they're all ages. I mean, we're talking about, I think our youngest author is 34 and then all the way up to over 70. And so it's like reading, your sister or your grandmother's journal. It's just really, it's beautiful. And in addition to that, we're all coming together in October in Atlanta, and we're doing a live event called Behind the Power.
Ooh,
and
do you have to send me information? I'll spread it in my social media, because this particular show won't air until November. That's
okay.
That's how busy I've been. But if you send that to me, social media, everybody will see it before the interview and then they'll catch up. But again,
Yeah,
the challenge.
the exciting thing about it is that it's live and virtual. We just added a virtual component so people can stay home and watch it. Yeah, it's exciting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful to be able to connect with total strangers and even people who you didn't realize have a crevice of pain, and how they've grown through that and worked through that, sometimes alone, because, you know, your ladies in the 70s, they didn't have the same resources, and they certainly couldn't be as open and, you know, charismatic about what they were going through, because it was kind of a hush hush for women at that time period. And my generation has evolved out of that, I think, pretty well. But I think it's beautiful to just collaborate and work together with beautiful souls who are doing exactly the right work, in my opinion only, you know, to help other people be inspired and take that extra step, because we really don't know the impact we have on each other until
We
the
don't.
after effect.
Exactly. You know, and I mean, Brene Brown has been an amazing gift to all of us, but she talks about the condition of shame, and it doesn't matter how old we are. It's a human condition, and we have to give a voice in order to heal. And that's what these women have done. And they're extraordinary.
It takes a lot of balls.
It does.
Yeah, you heard me. I said balls. You know, I'm going to get comments, but you should be more polite on your show. No, I'm 45 now. I think maybe I'm hitting that whole menopause highway. That's what I keep being told.
Where you just don't care.
No filter.
Right.
You turn me off. We're good. Yeah, that whole spicy cup of tea thing.
Love it.
So tell us how we can find more information about you. Again, this won't air until about November, but at least we get your message out. And it was really nice to hang out with you this morning. Thank you for being my cup of coffee.
Thank you so much. It was great to be with you. So the way to find me is www.AllysonRoberts.com, and I'm going to spell it because Allyson can be spelled 900 different ways. It's ALLYSON, Roberts.com.
Yeah, it was funny. Everybody goes, well, that's a very unique name you have there. Why did your parents name you that? And I said, well, because I was born before Lady Gaga. It's easier.
Oh.
It's Rustie.
There you go.
And it rhymes with bucket. Hard to forget. You, my friend, have a difficult name because today you're Alicia. I'm just kidding. All right, my dear. Thank you so much. Stay safe. And, you know, maybe one day when I cruise through Atlanta, we'll stop and have some coffee and get a hug.
I would love that. I would love that.
And keep me posted about any other creative endeavors you're doing. If you're doing another multi-authors book, or if you even want to talk about the process of how to do a multi-authors book, because that can be like a gangle of drunk kindergartners.
Yes. It's like herding butterflies sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, with a blindfold. But so stay in touch with me, all right?
All right, I will. Thank you.
Bye, honey.
Bye.
You're watching Living and Thriving with Rustie, and I get to do this. I get to connect with amazing peoples from all over the world and talk to them about what makes them tick. Why are they ooey gooey on the inside? Because even tough cookies like me, we have a little goo. It is what it is. I accept who I am. I'm beautifully flawed, deliciously perfect, and hey, why not? Go out and do something kind for somebody today. You never know what little tiny things can really change the course of somebody's life to impact them in such a way that you might actually prevent them from doing something really stupid, like robbing a bank or divorcing their husband. You know, it's really could be that big life stuff that they're in the middle of thinking about, and you do something kind and just shift them out of that direction. You are all angels. You're all walking on this earth to do good for each other. Try to think about it a little harder. Anyway, love you. Know that you're beautiful. And until next time.